Welcome to Java, and thank you very kindly for joining. It's July 8th, 2025. It's also early Tuesday morning. We've got quite a few storms, not just literally, but also in the market hitting. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started as always. Before I do, though, I would like to send out prayers and wishes to the family that have been devastated by these storms that are hitting Texas. So, as always, let's get started with what's going on in the markets. We've got now extreme greed still driving this market. Now, yesterday, it looked like the probabilities were that it would pull back, and indeed it did. So, with the drop in the markets yesterday, lost about 3 points, but still greed definitely driving this. We've got cryptocurrencies fully in the green, above 108,000 still. But this is more holding from yesterday. Stocks had a drop off with a lot of these things that are going on with the letters and how they were hitting a lot of uncertainty. So going forward, the futures look pretty well flat as well. The only thing, as we said yesterday, looking as the silver lining, so to speak, is actually silver. Now we've got crude coming down on that glut of supply, and we've got the volatility came down as well. So markets could recover as far as a buy the dip purchasing for today, but still very headline driven. So a lot of caution, a lot of headline risk still in here. Now, the thing I want to point out that happened, there is another massive warning happening across all of the bond markets, now the debt. So, what they're doing is their debt is coming due in the United States, and that's why this major battle over the rates, because they cannot roll it into these 30-year while the rates are still high, and Powell knows this. So what the plan is currently is that they're going to pour it all into the short term. It's going to distort the yield curve again if they do this, with the thought that once those rates are down, then they're going to go back into the longer term. However, doesn't always work out exactly like that. So with some of this coming in here, we've got yields spiking a bit. And it's not just the US bond debt, but it is across the board. And this is sending a warning to the equities markets. So we've got to watch this relative strength of the dollar down. We've got the BRICS still meeting and talking about alternatives and all of this trade upheaval, if you will, with the tariffs. But a lot of this is a cover for what's going on underlying. Now, Greg did a wonderful piece yesterday about what is going on with the restructuring, but we'll talk about that a little later because that is massively what we are headed towards and about to happen. So, cover on the short term 2 year. At any rate, for the moment, the daily driver, very headline. We've got deals going on, some delays happening for the deals that can't happen yet for all of these letters that came out yesterday. And they have indeed decided to push this deadline out again from the 9th until the 1st of August. So that's going to create a bit of calm. This comes true, and I believe that the markets could even open in the green if this comes out now, as these letters did cause all of the chaos. Worse, Trump announced a 25% tariff on Japan and South Korea, is this headline, but also Malaysia. So this is causing a serious issue over in the East. And as I'm calling it, a storm there for the trade. There's a lot going on there, and not just China. So we've got oil, as I said, dropping. It's not just the tariff risks, but also a couple of attacks that have happened over in the Red Sea, as well as OPEC glut hitting the market. So they're not telling you everything. So a couple of other points. Netanyahu and Trump are talking about the new Gaza deal. And in short, what they choose to do with what is going to happen with all of this property once they decide that their war is over, when they choose this. And with this, Netanyahu has nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. At the same time, Trump has also said the United States will now send Ukraine more arms to continue the war with Russia and Iran by proxy. So, all of these things going on. We've got the European Union chief demanding that China address their trade imbalance, and they've got tensions flaring, as this says. So, it's not just the trade imbalance tariffs that the United States is doing. This is a long-standing issue that has been underlying, and really what we're gearing towards is that restructuring overall with the central banks because it's been so massively distorted for so long. Calendar, we're looking more at consumer credit today, not too much. Tomorrow, the FOMC meeting is the large one. So we were just talking about this, the mega bill passed and expecting a ton of short-term debt to be sold in order to finance the government's deficit because it's got a wide deficit. The amount of this is just mind-boggling. So for our market minutes, we've got the chips are weak on export restrictions. Now, this is mostly the ones showing it this morning is Micron, Intel, and Qualcomm. Now, these are kind of subset chips, if you will. We've got NVIDIA. In other news, they have gone global. They are building what they're calling a mega campus to expand in northern Israel, of all places, with the new research data center facility. So, research data center facility encompasses many things. It's not just processing power, artificial intelligence, but also large amounts of biotech. So we've got more biotech coming into this, and that's going to play in a little bit more in a moment as well. We also had the conglomeration between the Course Bitcoin miner and purchased by CoreWeave in a stock deal yesterday. This is more for data centers as well. We're going to watch this going forward. I've been speaking about this. Now, Dubai set real world asset, that's RWA, milestone with the first approval of tokenized money market fund. So they have pushed to be the financial sector for what is coming and this new tokenized financial systems. They're one of the first. They've got this out. Tokenization has been happening, including of treasuries are already out there and being traded, just to let you be aware in case you are not already. Now, back to the biotech. Palantir, PLTR, wants to overhaul the FDA in order to get reforms so that they can put in their artificial intelligence biotech. Now, Palantir, if you don't remember, is one of the main ones that is driving the military and artificial intelligence for all of the military equipment. Now getting into the biotech section and wanting to revamp FDA in order to have easing rules so they can do as they please. This is very frightening, but not going into details here. I probably will talk about this in Discord or see if I can write a piece to put out on Substack for the details. Now, we've got a lot of flags that are coming into this economy. It is softening massively. I've been saying that by September, late August, September, I expect a bit of a crushing. It looks like it's setting up for that. CMBS is commercial backed securities. So this is the commercial mortgages have an amassed massive issuance. And what this means in short, commercial mortgages, the loans coming up, they're trying to sell them and they're in a lot of trouble under deep water. And this is going to show up very soon in the markets. Has not hit yet. So I want to bring up a couple of other things as well. This is a screenshot of a piece that has been done by our good friends, one of our Lions, because Trading Desk. If you are not subscribed to their Substack, you should. I'm going to try to put a link in below. If not, I might have it there a little bit later. And this is the one for Greg Manarinos. Now, he writes quite a bit more. But what he is saying here is if you're ready to be outside of this system because it is rapidly coming in, and I cannot stress this enough. So I want to go back a little bit about this piece. This is in short talking about the theft of inflation and a lot of the other things long term of what's going on. And I would just posit that this should be expanded a little bit globally. So it's worse even than if you are an American and you are suffering from the inflationary debt because you're also benefiting partially from it. But if you are in Europe or elsewhere globally that does trade with the United States, Western side, you should really be upset because you're taking the bulk of this inflation for this bill that just passed all of the taxation of the spending, and you are paying into it. Now, I want to cover a couple of other things before. China acquiring mineral assets globally. Well, they've been doing this for a long time. Hoarding gold, been doing this for a long time. They're also acquiring the mines themselves for gold and silver. So, gold now, the world's second largest reserve asset, and they're talking about the structural reform of the IMF and the World Bank. So we're not the only ones saying this strategic realignment of the global financial order. We know this is coming in. It's not only coming in, but it is being restructured to a central bank digital currency. They're just going to be calling it a stable coin. So stable coin system coming in very quickly. Now, I want to go back one other one, Metaplanet. Now, this is a Japanese business. They began a Bitcoin treasury to acquire cash generating businesses. They're looking at acquiring a digital bank in Japan. So all of this moving much more rapidly with all of this going on. So I want to go back just a little bit back to that nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize. Arms companies over here have made record profits by supplying Israel with cutting edge weapons, using their explosives on Gaza. It goes much more broadly than this, but being brought up, this is a war economy. Massive amounts of defense spending pouring into this. And that is where all of the production is heading, not just United States, but Germany as well. So one other thing, the Navy is going to stop sharing satellite weather data with NOAA. That is the National Weather Service. Now, this sounds like totally off, but it's these little things that people aren't catching, and this is what they're bearing underneath in these stories. Now, Department of Defense used to share their data. This month, they're reported to have awarded $28.4 million contract to Level 3 Harris Technologies. If you don't recognize that name, that is another major defense contractor for the United States, get a lot of Department of Defense or DoD contracts, and they are now enhancing the Navy's satellite communications capabilities. So they've split this off, not sharing this. Definitely a reason behind this, not going to talk about that here. But with all of this, there is a way to be outside of the system. You just have to prepare yourself. Precious metals, self custody your assets, and be prepared. So, with all of this, wish you a wonderful day in trading if you are doing so. And until I see you again, my friends, resist.